Welcome to Eagle Spire Gaming. I'm your host, Crown, and today is January 13th, and this is Great Penance Episode 9, where we have finished ourselves some Thanatar Siege-Automata, and we're going to be talking about these little guys. And if you're new here to the channel, what we're doing, Great Penance, this is where I am trying to finish all of these boxes that my pile of shame. I have taken a vow to finish them and before getting new things. And I got to build them, I got to paint them, I got to base them, and then I'm going to show them off to you guys. And we talk about them, we talk about stuff that's going on with the channel, and we talk about their stats, a little bit of the hobby inside of it, and how to use them, you know, a little bit of everything. And we kind of go in order of channel updates, hobbying, and then we get to the stats and their usage. And so channel updates, that doesn't usually change too much, but we got, we have finished playing a game with, well, my son. I don't know what to call him. I don't know what his call sign is yet. I always thought it would be Stencil. Me and Crayola, our call sign, Crown and Crayola, you know, Stencil kind of seemed like, you know, the next evolutionary process to that. But maybe something else. I don't know if you know, he hasn't earned it yet really, so I guess it's still up to change. But if you want to, if you got any suggestions or feedback on that, let me know. But yeah, so I finished that. We played our game. We did our match. I'm happy with it. We used everything that I had. We used almost everything I had. I forgot to include the Knights in that, or the Titans. I've got 3 Titans. I could have easily put two on one side and one on the other, or maybe just had one per side. And yeah, so you know, we kind of used everything we had, and we kind of just did a round robin, not a dodgeball style. You know, I pick somebody, you pick somebody. He started, so he had a little bit of an advantage with that. You know, he just went for what he wanted. And then I kind of just tried to pick something that was roughly the same cost, and he ended up having more points than me. Which is probably for the best. I don't know. Things took a turn, but and we messed up on the points for a little bit for scoring objectives. But I'm working on that. I gotta get that edited up, and then I'll have that posted for you, and that'll be up this week, so that'll be fun to watch. And then from here on, it's gonna be that's the last. That's it. That's the last time we're doing blue on blue. It's all gonna be blue v red now. You know, traitor versus loyalist. No more of this sharing an army thing going on. That is done. That is the past. So that'll be fun. And the reason we did that match, part of the logic behind it was I want to play. When I finish all these guys, when I finish all the Mechanicum guys, when I finish all the robots, we're going to, you know, Crayola is going to be playing using robots to fight me for a little bit until I have something else for her to fight me with. And I need to kind of, I feel like I should play a game with them to understand how they work so that I can help her with that. Because, you know, I kind of got to show her what she's doing with stuff. She's not going to read. She'll play the game. She's not going to read the book. So I should play a game to do that. But before I play a game versus him we'll just call him Stencil for now. Before I play a game with him with robots, let's get a baseline and see how he does with solar versus solar. And I've played him before, you know, fun little match, you know, mirror match, same thing I did with Crayola in her first game. But it's been a minute since we did that. So we played, he had fun. He's a little camera shy, but I think he had a lot of fun with it. So you'll be able to see that soon, you know, up either Wednesday or Friday. And then I got more of these guys I'm halfway done. I'm halfway through the Mechanicum. And then I'll be able to get start working on the next thing. But I realized that it is not a lot of Mechanicum. So as a solid force of Mechanicum, you know, it's only going to be like 1275 points. So I will need more Mechanicum. I got the Dark Mechanicum coming to, you know, I'll be starting them up in March, and that'll kind of, you know, that'll take that'll build up to the points a little bit. But maybe, you know, the battle group. I might mess up this vow, and I might have a battle group coming to help me out with. But it's okay, because my birthday's coming up, right? So we're good, right? All right. Well, let's talk about these guys. They're fun. So I built them all and painted them all in one go. I did them as a individual, in a group of 8, and I sometimes don't like doing that. I sometimes like doing it. It's hard to focus them. I sometimes prefer to work in smaller numbers for the batch painting and everything. With the Layman Russes, like I haven't even painted any of them. Sometimes like doing other stuff. I guess bigger squads of other things. I don't really like working on 10 Space Marines. I like doing 5 Space Marines. And so I did them all together, and it's they're beefy. These things are bigger than Layman Russes. They're like the size of Malcadors, or yeah, there's a lot of surface area going on, and a lot, they got 2 weapons, 3 if you count that fist. I guess you don't, but there's some chunky boys. Their legs 3 pieces, and then you attach the leg to the waist. So there's 7 pieces from the waist down, 7 pieces from the halfway point down. It comes with extra arms and stuff. Like it comes with extras of these, and you get extra of the plasma cannons, plasma mortar, but you can't use them because the back here is kind of set for this body. This body is set for this gun. That's the only. It's not going to take the other gun. And the same is true for that one. So you're kind of stuck using them that way, which is you put a knife to it, you can kind of fix it up. The reason though that you've got extra of these is at least because they have the open option, and then they have a closed option. I don't have a closed option to show you. I did all mine open so that they could so I can get in there and do that highlighting. And I gotta say, I messed up with the, I tried to give it that plasma glow look to it. There's no way to focus that. We're just gonna have to splice in a picture there. I tried to give it that plasma glow, and I failed. It is, I realize now looking at it that what I did was I put the bright highlights on the outside, and it really should have been more towards the inside. I should have had like a darker red towards that area. I kind of like it anyway, but I do see that I messed it up. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I think it still looks fine. It's just not the glow I would have wanted to do. If I eventually do, like, see, I've done glow. I can do the glow when it's blue. Red, for some reason, I just, I wanted to go from red to yellow, and I think it's because it's not a plasma coil, and it just is, I'm putting a glow to something very different. I think that's what threw me off, and I went in the wrong direction with it on both the front part here and the back, where it's, the body, I don't know what to call that. It kind of looks like the way they painted it, the way they had it in some of these other pictures and artwork, it kind of looks like that's supposed to be like there's supposed to be a glow coming from that too. But, it is what it is. The other thing that might have caused it is I was working the same way. I was doing it the same way I was doing, I was going through it at the same time and doing the same steps and colors while I was doing these graviton fists. And that, it's a different, putting an edge highlight to something effectively is, and I was kind of going for that's where the power is coming from with it. That just is a different process, and it didn't work out. But, we learn from our mistakes and we move on. I still like the way it looks. I may change how I do it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have any more of these for this force. The intent is these are villains. These are supposed to be the traitor forces. These are supposed to be with, siding with Horus. And that means that Dark Mechanicum is on the table. And if Dark Mechanicum is a thing, these guys actually don't they are not a part of the Dark Mechanicum. They're not an option for Dark Mechanicum unless you put in a support formation of Ironbound Runehost. So you could say that they're in the Dark Mechanicum Codex in that regards, but when they only have one formation that you can only take under certain circumstances. You can only take one of those formations per every other formation, per your regular formations. You could also ally them in, and, so there's a lot of ways to get them in there, but they do fill up, they aren't counting specifically towards your regular forces. And when you put them in an Ironbound Runehost, they do, these guys have Cybernetica Cortex, which means they have 2 orders that you can give them unless they are within a range of, unless they're within range of a Cybernetica controller. So normally you're only going to be able to give them advance, and you're only going to be able to give them first fire, which works for them because they are guns. They're very slow guns. You may want to march them so that they can get closer and shoot, but they may, because they don't have the most amazing range. Their best range being a 22-inch gun, and then their secondary gun is only 8 inches, and then the other gun that you're probably more likely to give them is only 18 inches. So they do need, and a 4-inch move, they need to get closer to shoot, or they are waiting for somebody to come closer to them. But with Cybernetica Cortex, advanced and first fire, that's what you can give them unless they're near a controller. And you can slap a controller, either a Tech Priest or Magos, into their units, and they've got 2 wounds, and now you can be repairing them. So that's not necessarily terrible, right? So maybe that's never an issue. But in the Ironbound Runehost, that becomes those 2 orders that you can always give them no matter where they are, become March and Charge. The Ironbound Runehost is a bunch of robots that have gone crazy. They've been infected with the scrap code, and they just want to get in and start slaughtering the enemy. So you need a controller nearby to keep them doing what you want them to do, which is probably use those guns. You only get 1 Bastion slot doing that, so if you want to use both of these units, because we have 4 with the plasma cannon and 4 with the las cannon-y thing, the solar heavy las. So las cannon, a heavy las cannon, I guess. Solex, sorry, not solar. You'll want 2 units, so you'll need 2 formations if you're doing it that way. So that's, there's a little bit of a drawback there. Close combat's not terrible for them. They do have a 4+4 calf, which is better than some things have. Definitely better than infantry, but you pay a lot of points for these guys. 110 points for every 2 of them. You don't get a discount unless you're taking them in a unit of 4. And a unit of 6 or 8 is going to have a better discount. But yeah, it's I want them shooting those guns, and I want them to be separate. I don't want to have the same guns there. I don't want to mix these guns up. Another drawback to them is, and before we move away from the Ironbound Runehost, they do get Dread. They get a 3-inch Dread aura when you're doing that, which I have to look up to see exactly what it does, but I think it's a fear effect. I think it's a morale thing. So, you charge in, and now it's really better for your more infantry style robots that you have a little bit more of. You get 2 of for 70 points instead of 110. But yeah, so you've got some weapon options with them. You can either take the Plasma Mortar and the Plasma Mortar and Molar Bolt Cannon, comes standard for that 110 points, or for 5 points more, you replace the Plasma Mortar with a Solix Heavy Las and a Graviton Ram. The Graviton Ram has Wrecker, makes you able to punch buildings and destroy it, Wrecker 2 specifically, so you'd be doing 2 damage to each building you punch. which for most buildings, that is enough to kill it. So you'd only need one of these guys to pop it. And then the Solex Heavy Las, you add 4 inches to your range, still only 1-shot weapon. You're going to also get Armor Bane, very nice when you're trying to deal with armor, enemy armor, and with a gun this expensive, I should imagine you want to. You lose to hit. You go from hitting on 3-ups to hitting on 4-ups, and your AP drops from -3 to -1. It's a bit of a downgrade. I think I'd rather have -3 AP than -1 AP and Armor Bane, because against a Layman Russ, they have a 3-up save that they need to make twice, or they have a 5-up save that they need to make once. I think the math is in favor of the 5-up save. I think that's where you're going to kill more. I think a 3-up save twice is easy to make. A 5-up save, they're probably going to fail more times. Also has Demolisher and ignores cover, so you can shoot it into infantry in buildings if you need to, or in ruins. And you can shoot buildings if you need to. Again, 110 points for 2 of them. I don't know that I want to do that. I think I want to focus on killing tanks. The reason you're paying the 5 points, it's 5 points for a downgrade on the gun. It's 5 points for the RAM. The Graviton RAM is what you're paying 5 points for. I think it'd be nice if it did a little bit more than just Wrecker 2. If it maybe gave you Rend, if it increased your CAF, something like that. That'd be, I think I'd like that more, because as it is, I kind of don't want to get these guys into close combat anyway. They're slow, they're hard to get there. They do have a lot of wounds, but CAF 4, it's better than Rend, but the things that have Rend also have CAF, so it's not really quite a one-for-one trade. So yeah. Aside from that, what else can we do with them? I was talking a little bit earlier. I kind of went down the rabbit hole and I moved away from it. But when you're putting for my forces, do I want more of these with my banished? I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna wait on that. I'll have more just because the battle group comes with them. But because I'm limited in how I can get them into my army, I don't know that I'm necessarily ever going to want that many more of them. Mind you, there's not a lot of... If there's nothing else that comes out for Bastions in Mechanicum, then maybe that fills those slots and I don't need to worry about it. If other stuff does come out, then they'll be competing with them, and I don't want to... these guys may not have the same... I may not support them in my army as much, so I won't need them. A straight Mechanicum list would have an easier time fielding these guys, but with Dark Mechanicum, I either have to ally them in, or I have to run my army as Mechanicum, ally in Dark Mechanicum to get the Stalker constructs, or I have to use that Ironbound Rune Host. So I've got a lot of options there. But the easiest thing is to just say, hey, these are the only Thanatars that I'm going to have in my army for these guys, and that's the easiest way to go about that. So, we may just default to that. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. What you can do with them is, funnily enough, they fit in the conveyors, the Triarchos conveyor, the transport. It's large. It's a large transport with 4 slots to it, and that means that it can fit 2 of them. Large transport means that you can fit walkers, and they take up 2 space. So these guys will take up 2 space, and you can put 2 in there, and that will give them, on turn 1 you can now move them 12 inches to get them into the right firing lanes. And that's kind of 12 inches if your Triaros is going to be shooting. You can also march it, and now you have a 20-inch move with an 18-inch gun. So that's fun. And the Triaros has a lot of... cheap, 15 points, definitely cheaper than a Dracosin, a little bit more expensive than a Rhino, and has 4 shots at 8 inches, all of which, 3/4 of which are light AT, so that's fun. Yeah, so maybe I'll do those next. Maybe for every 2 of these guys, I need a conveyor. So probably need to have more of them than the 4 that I have now, just to transport a whole bunch of guys. But you can't put them in the well, that's unfortunate because you can't actually put them in the same formations. Can you? I don't think you can. So that is that's where they get you. Of course you could put them in there because they're way too big to be realistic, but the only formation that you can fit them in would be, you get 3 bastions in the Ordo Reductor subdivision, which is where I was going to put mine, and then you get 1 formation in the Togma subcovenant, and that is where you can have some transport. So that's where you have to put them. Ironically, I wasn't going to be able to, I don't think I'm getting very many Togma subcovenants because I don't have enough infantry yet. So I need more infantry to do that. 1 box, 1 battle group, it makes everything you need, but it really doesn't give you a lot of options for how you can put this together, how you can assemble everything. So what I'll need to do is I'll need more infantry. It just circles back around to the beginning of the video where I mentioned that I might need to get more of these, but my birthday is coming up, so I'll have that. Yeah, fun. Okay, so we're gonna wrap things up there. This has been a fun video about the Thanatars and how they may or may not fit into your army depending on what you're doing. Big robots, real big, and I love the way they came out. I am fighting myself on whether or not I'm going to have to change that glow effect because it did not come out the way I wanted it to. But you know what? They still look great even as is, and I will battle myself on that later. But until next time, this has been Eagle Spire Gaming. Thanks for flying by.